So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher. A lot of this coming out via multiple lawsuits that essentially, if we were to put it in a nice context, or at least use a euphemism for something that's really disgusting, the allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher into Hollywood. He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry, and sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing. And if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah, so yeah, I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Diddy just got caught in the one video that changes everything. Imagine seeing a 15-year-old Justin Bieber, fresh off YouTube fame, suddenly sitting beside one of the most powerful moguls in the music industry while cameras roll. On the surface, it looks like fun and games. Diddy is laughing, bragging, and telling the world that he has Justin Bieber under his watch for 48 hours. But when you replay the footage, when you really listen to the words, the tone, and the power dynamics, it doesn't feel like mentorship at all. It feels like the start of something darker, and that's exactly what Candace Owens couldn't stay silent about. She tore into the footage, the industry, and Diddy himself, calling this one of the biggest red flags in music history. What you're about to hear will make you look at Diddy in a way you never have before.
And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober.
he is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged at Diddy's parties, that they were pouring out the liquor bottles and replacing it with other drugs. He kept unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. And then he was scooped up, and suddenly he was a part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, hey man, why don't you pick up my phone calls? There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years old and said, why aren't you picking up my phone calls? And he's like, oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number. And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you
All right,
doing?
young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you tried to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
The old clip of Diddy with a 15-year-old Bieber is chilling in hindsight. Diddy sits there smirking, explaining that Justin is spending 48 hours with him, that they're going to go crazy, and that it's every teenager's dream. He even compares it to the time he claimed he had guardianship over a young Usher when Usher was first breaking into the industry. At the time, some people may have brushed it off as celebrity banter, but now with lawsuits piling up against Diddy, with testimonies painting a disturbing picture of what really happened at his parties, this clip feels like ground zero. It's no longer quirky, it's no longer harmless, it's evidence. Think about who Bieber was in that moment. A kid from Canada who only wanted to sing and play guitar, a boy who uploaded covers to YouTube and blew up overnight. Suddenly, he was thrust into a billion-dollar industry with adults he barely knew and power players like Usher, Scooter Braun, and now Diddy. Diddy wasn't just giving him advice, he was putting himself in control. He was bragging about access. And that's why Candace Owens called it out so fiercely. She said the quiet part out loud. This wasn't an accident, this was targeted.
And they're calling everything a conspiracy theory. Just like Piers Morgan did when he rushed to yell at me about talking about Diddy being a Fed asset, even though he admits he didn't even read the lawsuit. Take a listen.
Again, you're being disingenuous because actually you're stating it as fact.
No, what I'm telling people
in the same way you say, I state my entire reputation of Bridget Macron's a man, you also stated as fact, nothing from a lawsuit. You just said he's not in jail, you tweeted, because he's a Fed CIA asset. Kanye tried to tell everybody.
Have you read the lawsuit? Because it seems like you haven't, obviously.
But that's your statement.
Did you read the lawsuit? That's the first thing, because we can skip the hyperbole. Did you read the lawsuit?
I'm asking you.
Okay, then we're not going to talk about this topic. So no, he didn't read the lawsuit, but he wants to make sure that I'm not saying that he is a federal asset. I did not realize that you can quite literally draw a direct line from Prince to Michael Jackson to Ye, and then now to Justin Bieber and the things that they have been saying.
I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist.
There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. Our values have been lessened to a great degree. People can say all they want to, that there's no reason for these kids to listen to music and then go shoot somebody. But, there's something that's triggering these buttons.
Record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can.
We can't just say, oh, it's okay for people to super complicate deals and to collude on deals and to not look at us as human beings, as artists and athletes and actors, that we have to be willing to stand up for that to be able to change something.
If they cannot control you, they will ruin you. So I started thinking over this weekend, what if we just stopped for 1 second accusing all of these artists of being crazy, and instead we started actually investigating some of the things that they've been saying?
When you watch Bieber in that clip, his body language says it all. He laughs awkwardly, fidgets in his seat, and tries to play along with Diddy's energy. But you can see the discomfort. You can see a teenager caught between wanting to be polite and not knowing how to handle the situation. Diddy dangles promises of luxury gifts, mentions Lamborghinis, and treats the moment like a show. But for Bieber, it was a nightmare dressed up as mentorship. Owens made it clear, no normal parent would allow their 15-year-old to spend unsupervised nights with a grown celebrity. The only reason it was normalized here is because it was Diddy, and Hollywood let him get away with it. Candace Owens replayed another infamous interaction between Bieber and Diddy. In it, Diddy confronts Justin for not answering his calls. Bieber nervously explains that he never had Diddy's number directly and that people were trying to reach him through business channels. Diddy then insists on giving Bieber his number almost like a demand. The clip is hard to watch. Bieber is still young, still trying to navigate fame, and Diddy is treating him like he owes him loyalty. Again, Owens asked the obvious question, why was this okay? Why did no one step in? Why was a teenager being pressured into constant contact with one of the most powerful men in the music world? The timeline makes it even worse. Diddy already had a reputation long before Bieber came around, allegations tied to his treatment of Usher as a young artist, whispers of his notorious parties, and endless rumors were already swirling, yet the industry ignored all of it. Instead, they placed Justin Bieber directly in his orbit. Owens stressed that this wasn't just bad judgment, it was systemic neglect. Managers, agents, executives, and media figures all saw the warning signs. They all saw Bieber's discomfort, and yet they laughed it off as funny or quirky. The truth is they chose to protect their access to Diddy instead of protecting Bieber.
Jonathan Odie. Can you update my audience on who Jonathan Odie is?
Most people remember the video. It was in 2018. He was the Trump Doral hotel shooter. He was making bizarre claims, like he was Diddy's sex slave and that Diddy had forced him to have sex with his girlfriend Cassie. He also talks about like the Black Boule and the Illuminati.
Do you know Sean Combs? Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati. Okay. It's the black people. I had settlement with Sean, okay? And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's his attorneys. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. They move all the dope, all the dope on private jets, which don't get screened by customs, by the inside the United States.
Years later, Bieber himself hinted at the scars those experiences left on him. In a 2020 interview with Zane Lowe, Justin became emotional while talking about Billie Eilish, another young star suddenly thrown into the spotlight. Bieber choked up, saying he wanted to protect her from what he went through. He never named Diddy, he never gave specifics, but his tears told the story. He spoke about being told he was loved only to be abandoned. He spoke about not knowing who to trust, and he spoke about wishing no one else would have to endure the same pain. Owens connected the dots. This wasn't just stress, this was trauma. Trauma hidden behind fame, money, and years of silence. Candace Owens didn't just stop at Bieber's words. She tied in lawsuits that have accused Diddy of creating environments where young people were manipulated and substances were allegedly used to keep control. She pointed to footage of Bieber at parties, surrounded by older stars, a night clearly under the influence and far from the innocent kid he once was. In one clip, he sits alongside Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr., visibly intoxicated. Some might have brushed it off as teenage rebellion. But Owens argued that it was exploitation disguised as celebration. It was a child being pulled into a system designed to trap him.
Diddy was not at the top of the ring, okay? And it sounded like it was a Fed operation. And so it was a show trial because the Feds are never going to reveal the Feds that are in control of an operation. And the minute that they did not bring Christina Karam, the involvement that this woman have, apparently it's like having a Jeffrey Epstein trial and not like a public Jeffrey Epstein trial and not mentioning or bringing up Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, that's how you know it was a show trial. So this whole fake, oh my God, I can't believe you got away with it. Of course you got away with it. This was a Fed operation. That is my viewpoint. I am never going to change it. I think he's the Jeffrey Epstein of the hip hop world. He was doing what he was supposed to do and what he was told to do. And we're never going to get any information because now everyone's gotten their show trial and there are people on the streets that are pouring baby oil on top of themselves. I'm not kidding. His fans and supporters, as a show of support, it's disgusting. I'm laughing at just the state of humanity today because women are in the streets throwing baby oil on themselves, excited that he is found not guilty on the bigger charges. And I'm maybe asking for a reset. We just need to reset on humanity, just kind of, back to the factory settings here. So everything he's saying about the relationship between Diddy and Cassie ended up being verified and true and sounded insane at that time. He also says that Diddy's a member of the Black Illuminati and that he would hear him on the phone discussing matters. He also mentioned in this, we didn't show this clip, but he mentions pink cocaine.
Yeah.
At that time, no one knew what he was talking about. Suddenly, Lil Rod's lawsuit is speaking about that exact same drug that he's saying is a combination of all sorts of drugs like MDMA and cocaine. And again, all of this is allegedly, but he says that essentially that's what Diddy is giving out at these parties that has people that is so high, rather. Again, what year was this that Jonathan Odie was arrested?
That was 2018.
And we can also now confirm that he was indeed a sex slave to Cassie and Diddy. Cassie was asked
Cassie
questions
testified about him.
Cassie testified about him and was asked questions and confirmed.
I
that
want
he
him to take the stand
indeed.
so bad.
So what's going on?
Also, while we're on the Black Boule thing, that Jonathan
Could you
Audi
describe,
brings
by the
up
way,
the Black
because
Boule.
when you actually brought up the Black Boule, I had no idea what that was.
I don't know a lot about it, and I think that there's a lot of versions of it. I think the understanding is that it traces back to the black nobility and one of the royal families.
I think there might be a Wikipedia.
Yeah, there is, and so it that in modern times there's lots of different takes on it, but the theory is that you sell out your own. And so the Black Boule, my understanding is that they are sort of the black people that sell out the other black people on behalf of the Illuminati or the guys controlling the world. And LeBron James does have a gigantic back tattoo of the crest, the symbol itself of the Black Boule. Very, very literally the exact image. Or it's his chest, I think.
I think it's on his chest.
The lawsuits against Diddy reinforce that picture. Former associates have alleged that guests at his parties were given drinks spiked with substances, that control was maintained through manipulation and fear, and that silence was enforced with NDAS and threats. Now place a 15-year-old Justin Bieber in that setting. Place a young, vulnerable teenager in a mansion full of adults with no supervision. It doesn't take imagination to see the danger. It only takes honesty. And that's what Owens delivered, blunt honesty that the industry has avoided for decades. The tragedy is that Bieber's story isn't unique. The difference is that he was too famous for the world not to notice. Behind every headline, behind every lawsuit, there are countless unnamed victims who never made the news. Owens said it best. The entertainment industry has always protected predators instead of children. Diddy was just the face of that problem. Rich, connected, untouchable, until now. For years, people were too afraid to speak out against him. But the lawsuits, the footage, and the testimonies are breaking that silence. The walls are closing in. When Owens replayed Bieber's awkward interviews, the evidence became undeniable. His nervous laughter when Diddy was mentioned, his refusal to elaborate on their time together, and his attempts to dodge questions all pointed to the same conclusion. Something was deeply wrong. Yet the media painted it as a joke. Late night shows laughed. Entertainment outlets called it eccentric. No one wanted to confront the obvious because confronting it meant risking everything: access, power, money. And so for decades, silence ruled. But silence can't last forever. Owens reminded viewers that now, with lawsuits piling up and former allies distancing themselves, the truth is breaking through. Diddy's wealth, his luxury lifestyle, his endless displays of power, they weren't just symbols of success. They were tools of manipulation. The Lamborghinis, the mansions, the private jets, these weren't gifts, they were bait. They were designed to impress, to control, to make young talent feel indebted. And Justin Bieber was one of those who got caught in the web. Owens ended her segment with urgency. She looked directly into the camera and asked parents a question that should shake anyone watching. Would you let your 15-year-old child spend unsupervised nights with a celebrity? The answer is no, of course not. And yet in Hollywood, this was normalized, this was excused, this was brushed off as just how the industry works. Owens insisted that Bieber's story is a warning to every parent, every fan, and every artist. Fame doesn't protect children, it exposes them. The evidence is undeniable. The old clips, the lawsuits, the testimonies, the emotional breakdowns, they all paint the same picture. Diddy wasn't just a mentor, he was a manipulator. He used his power to gain access to the most vulnerable. He surrounded himself with those who couldn't fight back. And for too long, too many adults helped him do it. The silence is cracking now, but the damage is already done. Bieber survived, but others may not have been as lucky. What makes the story so haunting is how preventable it was. The red flags were always there, the footage was always public, the interviews always showed Bieber's discomfort, but the world chose not to see it. Now, with Owens speaking out, with lawsuits piling up, and with the tide finally turning, we can no longer look away. The truth is staring us in the face, and the truth is that Diddy's empire was built not on mentorship, but on manipulation. For decades, he thrived unchecked. But now the cracks in his empire are spreading and the truth is breaking free. This isn't celebrity gossip. This isn't rumor. These are facts. Hard, uncomfortable facts. A 15-year-old boy was pulled into the orbit of a man who used power to silence everyone around him. And that boy's awkward laughter, nervous eyes, and later tears told the story the industry refused to acknowledge. Candace Owens said what needed to be said. This is what exposure looks like. No more excuses. No more rewriting history. The silence is over. Diddy is finally being seen for who he really is, and this time there's no going back.